Welcome back to Building Dad Bod 2.0. Today's workout was all about extra pressing volume and upper back volume. So starting off with 3-board block press, 3 sets of 3 there, then down to 2-board block press, again 3 sets of 3. Going for speed work, so we got the chains, the bands. Then we dropped to regular bench height for 5 sets of 3. So we're doing 145 pounds for the block presses and just 95 pounds on the full range of motion bench. When the chains are fully loaded, they're 85 pounds, and then they're basically unloaded at the bottom. Then we're hitting some extra dip volume on the rings today. So 3 sets of 5 with 44 pounds, and then we did a drop set, went down to 20 pounds, got as many reps as I could, then dropped the kettlebell and went to body weight, just for 1 set on the drop set here. So this is the week we're going to really start upping the pressing volume. First time in about 6 months since I injured this shoulder, and the first time in a very long time that I've hit a ton of bench press and dip volume at the same time. We're going to see how the shoulder holds up. We're doing both bench and dip pressing 3 days per week. Still not doing any overhead at this point. It drives the bicep tendon crazy, so we just dropped that all together. Along with any incline pressing, that also bugs the bicep tendon. I wish I could include more incline and overhead, but at this point, the whole point is not to irritate the shoulder and the bicep tendon, but get as much pressing volume as possible. Going to take a run at the 200-pound dip, and we're going to take a run at the 300-pound bench press over the course of this next year. So I'm going to have to stay healthy, going to have to keep the volume high. If I re-injure this shoulder, it's going to be a major setback, so I got to do everything I can to be smart about this training. Be intense, but be smart. After that, we went on to pull-ups. So 8 sets of 2 with 40 pounds today. Superset the pull-ups with dumbbell bench press. So the goal on the dumbbell bench press has been to get the 80s up over 15 reps. Ultimate goal to get 100s up to 15 reps. Previous Monday, I actually got 15 reps with the 80s, but I want to be able to do it in a fatigued state after the doing some tricep work. I know if I can get the 80s when the triceps are fatigued, then I move up to 85s. I'll be that much closer to getting the 100s. So just 3 sets with the dumbbells, 12 reps, then 10 reps and 10 reps. So what I did was did 2 sets of 2 on pull-ups, a set of dumbbell presses, 2 sets of 2 on pull-ups, dumbbell presses, just alternated back and forth. So superset them that way. Pull-ups I was really happy with. Obviously, goal is to do them as explosively as possible. It's only my second week on 40s, but I feel like the 40s are moving just as explosively as the 20s did when I was at the 20s. So it's a slow process rebuilding these pull-ups, but I'm happy with the direction that we're going. Next up, I had supinated pull down. So again, we've got the full stack, 210 pounds. Last session, I managed to get 10 reps. So goal today was to get it up to 11 reps. Managed to get my 2 sets of 11 here. And then I superset these with Tate presses to get some extra tricep volume. Tate presses tend to hit on the inside of my left elbow, right where I've had nerve trouble. So I just did 30 pounds, 2 sets of 25 with 30 pounds. They're easier when I use elbow sleeves, less stress on that nerve, but I want to build them up without sleeves and see if we can get this nerve issue completely healed up. It's going to be, again, just a bit of a process. We're going to build slowly on them and see how it feels. So here we go, 2 sets of 25, 30 pounds. I'll just show you the first few reps in real time, then I'll speed the rest of the reps up. But I love Tate presses. They just don't love me so much. Like I say, they irritate that nerve a bit, but we'll start light. The most I've ever done on Tate presses is 50 pounds. So I'll see if I can work my way back up and surpass that. But I'm doing skull crushers on my heavy dip day. So I'd throw the Tate presses in on my volume day. And then on heavy bench day, we're doing the speed dips and some body weight ring dips for extra pressing volume. So that gives us our 3 days a week of dip volume plus a couple other tricep accessories thrown in there. All right, and then you know me, got to balance out all that pressing volume with a ton of back volume. So did a drop set here, started at 243 pounds. May have to stop using 243. It cambers my whole weight stack and makes the slides really drag up and down, adding a ton of friction. I don't want to wear the slides out, but yeah, 232 it feels okay. It doesn't camber the stack so bad, but the 243 for 5 reps, 232 for 5 reps, 221 for I believe 5 reps, and then dropped it down to 210 pounds and got as many reps as I could at 210 pounds. I ran through this superset twice, so it worked out to be 40 reps total on the low rows. And then we went to a high to low row next. Absolutely love doing cable work for my back, but I do hope soon to be able to get back to doing power rows. My hip and my lower back are moving in the right direction. Just can't take any chances stressing them yet to do any heavy barbell rows. As you can see from all my sets on the stack, I have zero issues doing some cheat rows or using a little bit of body English to get the work done. I'm not worried about using the least weight amount possible to make sure my form is absolutely perfect with no momentum on these. See these days people pushing perfect form, perfect range of motion, slow and controlled, but use the, a very light amount of weight to get the best hypertrophic results, and I just don't see that being realistic as a natural lifter. I've seen studies of people gaining 30 pounds of muscle on anabolics without even touching a weight. They can go through the motions, slow and controlled, perfect form with very little weight, and still get great results. For me, as a natural, you got to bring volume and intensity. I like to work each muscle group 3 times per week. Especially at 46 years old, I feel like if I want to put on muscle, I gotta bring the volume, gotta bring the intensity. If you watch me, you know I like to hit the heavy low rep sets to bring the strength, and I like to hit a ton of volume to work on hypertrophy. Here we're doing a giant set, so my usual giant set for shoulders. Today I started off on the rear delt flies with some very strict rear delt flies, and then went into my cheat rear delt flies. And kept dropping the weight until I got back to strict form again. Once I burned out on those, then we're on to side lateral raises. These ones I just started heavy, and then same thing, drop setted. And then I do the front raises and finish off with some Y raises. I was running 2 sets on these, but I find I don't have to now. As long as I'm running them every second day, I can get away with just doing 1 giant set. And my shoulders seem to be responding really, really well to this. Right, that's it for today's workout. We'll leave off with a little physique check. As of this morning that I'm doing the voiceover, I'm down to 177.8 pounds, so a couple more pounds to go. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.